Jaxson, Evan Barnes, Newsday. Just how was your first day?
Yeah, I mean, it's been surreal up to this point. Me and Abdul were just talking about it, and I feel like, it kind of just hit us for the first time, being out here, wearing this jersey. It's an amazing privilege, so, we definitely hold it in high regard, and you just want to continue to get better each and every day, and anytime you get to play football, it's the best, so.
Jaxson, Connor Hughes, SNY. I think the Giants started releasing some of the clips of the production that they had done from the draft process, and you and Dable going back and forth on the whiteboard, I think, started going viral a little bit online. Can you just take us through that, what it was like being tested in that regard? How'd you been tested in that regard?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people have seen, the process a little bit on Hard Knocks, but it's intense. I kind of had an idea coming into it, that I had to make sure that I was on my P's and Q's when I walked in. So it was super fun. I think that at the same time, me and him were able to just form like an organic relationship, and they definitely tested me, harder than any other, team throughout this process. And, I was just grateful to come here and to take that challenge on and, be around these great coaches.
What was it that you identified that seemed to get Dable pretty amped up?
Just a concept, I figured out pretty quick. And then it was a question that they hadn't, put into my installer, for me to know, and I just kind of knew it, so.
Jaxson, Dan Duggan from Athletics. So did you just watch Hard Knocks as a football fan, and then did that give you a little clue of what you'd be in for when you did have to sit down at the table?
No, quite honestly, I didn't watch it all, but I just saw like clips of it on TikTok. So.
Did that give you a heads up?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Jaxson, Joe Messeri, Pix 11 here. Cam was up here just a minute ago, just talking about how smart you seem out there on day one.
Yeah.
How much pride do you take in performing off the field as well as on the field?
Yeah, as a quarterback, you're the one that you run the ship when you're out there. So, if you don't know the ins and outs of everything, you're not going to have everybody around you prepared. And I think that that's super important. It's very important to have that mindset coming to work each and every day. And I think that also raises the bar for everybody around you. And I think that if you want to be a great team and you want to, compete at the highest level, that's definitely how you have to be as a quarterback.
Jaxson, Patty Trainer from On SI.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Have you had a chance to speak with Winston or Wilson? And if not, what's one of the first things you want to ask those guys?
Oh, yeah, they've been great. They were some of the first people to text me when I got drafted, and I thought that was just super cool. Those are guys that I've looked up to for such a long time. I've said this before. Like, I remember I was wearing Russ's jersey with the Seahawks when he won a Super Bowl. So, like I said, these guys have been, people who I've really looked up to, and I hold them in the highest regard. So I think for me, being in this situation, being able to be a sponge and soak in all the information that I can will help elevate me. And then at the same time, I just want to compete and make everybody else better in the room as well.
Hey, Jaxson, Art Stapleton from The Record.
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
You're a guy that, talking to people who've played with you, you want to be in every room, you want to meet the guys, you want to get guys prepared for, whether it's practice or a game. When you come to rookie minicamp, there are a lot of guys who probably, won't be here come Sunday. For you, What was the process like starting last night of getting your guys that you're playing with today and tomorrow ready for the opportunity? It looked like you're trying to get guys set up in the 7-on-7s, guys who you haven't played with. What is that like? What's that mindset like for you, for a guy who always wants to take care of that?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I mean, this is just an incredible opportunity for anybody who can step on the field out here at this, at the NFL level. So I think for all of us, we're just super grateful to be here. It doesn't matter where you got drafted, where you got picked. You got to come with the same mindset each and every day. And you see so many guys across the league who have, a ton of success, who maybe weren't even drafted the highest, but, they come to work every single day and they're consistent. And I think the biggest thing coming out here, we had, a great group last night who we all got together and made sure that we went through the script and did a walkthrough. So, that made coming out here on the field, the operation a lot smoother, and everybody was a lot more confident, was able to play a lot faster when we got to the field.
Was that in the building, or are you talking about like when you got back to the hotel you were doing it?
Yeah, we just talked on the bus on our way back, and I think as the quarterback, you got to make sure that everybody knows what they're doing. So, I tried to get as many guys as I could together on the offensive side of the ball and go through it and teach everybody, making sure that we're all on the same page.
Jaxson, Ryan Dunleavy from the New York Post.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Two for you. Any story behind that necklace?
Yeah, actually, here's the story. So, my little sister had it. It was hers. It was before our bowl game, and as I was leaving the house over Christmas, a little break before the bowl game, and just saw it in her room, and I was like, I kind of like it. So, put it on. It's kind of been good luck for me ever since. So.
And then the other thing, totally shifting gears to football. Everybody saw the John Gruden clip, the snap count, etc. How comfortable are you doing a snap count? I know Dable said you were going to have to do one today versus what you did in college with the clapping.
Yeah. Did you guys hear me good when I was out there?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel like it's been super fun. Quite honestly, it's been something that I've always wanted to do. And I've always kind of practiced it, on my own, or, kind of just messing around with buddies and whatnot. But, I think it's always a little bit of a transition. It really goes for anybody from the college level to the NFL level. The cadence is different no matter where you've been at. So, you're always going to have a little bit of a learning curve, but it's something that really excites me, and I think that you have so many opportunities and advantages with the cadence, and you can do so many different things that can take advantage of a defense. So definitely something that I wanted to continue to excel at each and every day.
Jaxson, what's the difference between?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Charles.
I just wanted to follow up on the necklace.
Yeah.
How's your sister feel about it?
She likes it. She likes it. Now my little brother ordered one too. So.
Have you had another one, or is she?
Yeah, we got her another one too. We got her another one. Had to make sure.
Are you the oldest?
I am the oldest. Yeah.
Jaxson, hey, Paul Schwartz from the New York Post.
Nice to meet you, Paul.
Same here. You mentioned about how quarterback, needs to get everybody involved and know what's going on. I mean, how comfortable does a person have to be you're a first-round pick, you're the quarterback, you started at SEC school for many years, in their own skin, and to be everyone looking at you and waiting for you and the guy.
Yeah.
How comfortable is that for you?
I just think I'm really confident in my preparation every day, and I feel like anytime I step on the field, like I don't have doubts when I play, and I think that comes from taking the time to really understand the scheme and what I'm doing and why is a play called to execute a certain way, and that's something that I take pride on. And then as a quarterback, you're only as good as the guys around you, so you want to make sure that everybody's on the same page and everybody has that same preparation aspect of making sure that everything's down to a T and is done the right way. And our coaches did a great job preparing for us, and I kind of wanted to continue that because at times you're kind of limited with time, and everybody kind of has a little question, so just wanted to answer that and get everybody on the same page.
Jaxson, Steve Serby, New York Post.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. What kind of feedback were you getting from Coach Dable on the field today?
Yeah, he coaches me up like every second I'm around him. He's the guy that will walk in a room, say goodbye and whatnot, and then he'll come back 30 seconds later because he has an idea. So he's constantly coaching me, and I think that's what I want to be around. I want to be coached the hardest, and I feel like that's going to help me excel at the highest level and help me reach my potential. So there's not another coach I'd rather be playing for.
It seemed like you had a lot to say after your last throw. Was that something specific about that read, that play, or is it just more just the entire period? Like right after you threw that last pass, he was like right in your ear.
Yeah, no, he was just kind of asking what I was seeing, kind of explained it to him and making sure that we're just on the same page.
It became very clear through some of the clips that have come out during the draft process that he wanted you, that you were Dable's guy. What does that mean to you to have a coach that really, really wants to work with you and sees the potential in you and is about as invested as you can get?
Yeah, I'm blessed to be here. I'm blessed to be able to, be coached by him, and I think that we just kind of collect, personality-wise of how we handle things and kind of just our competitive nature, our toughness, and our grit about how we go about things. I think that just helped us connect. And he sees football the same way that I see it, and we see it as a physical and tough sport. And I think that a lot of times you don't really see that a ton with quarterbacks. And for me, I kind of play like a defensive player a little bit with just the way that I attack each and everything I do.
Jaxson, Pat Leonard, Daily News. You seem comfortable. Did that happen very quickly, like after you got drafted, or does getting on the field make you feel more comfortable? Like, can you walk me through how you got to this point?
Yeah, like I said, I'm confident when I step in between those lines. I felt prepared coming into today, and I'm a competitor, and I feel like if you don't see yourself, playing at the highest level, you shouldn't even be between those lines in the first place, especially as the quarterback, of how you're going to lead the guys around you. So, I come prepared, and I'm confident when I step between those lines.
Jaxson, when is the last time you did not start? When were you kind of a guy on the bench?
I haven't, really sat before.
Middle school, elementary school, anything?
No.
No, nothing.
No.
Okay. Okay. I wouldn't know what that feels like, but
Yeah.
how are you going to deal with that?
I'm a competitor, so I'm going to come to work each and every day and do my best to make everybody around me better. I understand what the situation is, but for me myself, I care about winning. There's nothing fun about losing. So it doesn't matter where you're at on the depth chart. If you're playing this much or not playing this much, if you're losing, it sucks. So for me, I want to make the team better, and that's my focus.
Why?
Jaxson.
Last one. Why? Go ahead. I was just going to about 6. Is it permanent? Why 6?
I think we'll come to a final decision here soon. Quite honestly, I kind of have to just look at the pictures to see if I like myself in 6.
And also, Michael Strahan spoke to you guys, and what do you take from that, and what do you think when a guy like that's here, being able to speak to you guys? Yeah,
it's incredible. He's a legend. You see him on the walls. I've seen him on TV for a long time. He's bigger in person, so it's great to have a person like that who's open, who's able to come around the facility a ton, and kind of like Eli. Those are people that you can lean on and ask for advice because they've done it at the highest level. So that's kind of my mindset, and I'm excited to continue to grow my relationship with him.